Welcome. We will let you know when we will start and count down before.
Where do you join you from? Let us know in the comment field. Do you already know our speaker? Give a shout out and let us know how.
Ask anything during the session in the comment field, and we will bring it up to the speaker or answer it in the chat. Are you ready? We start in 30 seconds from now.
Welcome to this micro course, providing you with best practice skills and know-how. This session is given to you by the Van Haren Group, your partner to enable best practice learning. With your host, Maurits van der Plas.
About sustainable competences for the management professional. This is IPMA micro course. I'm here with Sara Bossi from Milano, Italy, working as a CSR manager at Hayworth Lifestyle. Lana Butković, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Lana, or good enough, associate professor at the Faculty of Civil Engineering at the University of Zagreb in Croatia. Pürckhauer, founder, executive director of Time for PM, and leading the IPMA Standing Committee. Peter is based out of Sauerland, which is in Bavaria, Germany, and with Gilbert Silvius, academic lecturer and researchers on sustainable project management from Utrecht, the Netherlands, and Vienna, Austria. Now I don't pronounce Wien. Apologies. Please do post your questions in the chat. We will answer them probably at the end of this session. But do reach out. Maybe we'll be able to answer them already during the start. And then yeah, let's kick off. Let's go. And I think we can go to the next slide already. So, Sara, why do project managers need sustainable competences?
Yeah, hi everybody, welcome. I'm Sara, I'm from Italy, and I am a sustainability manager working in the practitioners field. And this is a very good question, which I get asked often, honestly. The reason why we need project managers to be competent in sustainability is because we need to bridge a gap between sustainability strategies and implementation. So basically, we have have seen a huge shift towards sustainability. And when I say sustainability, I don't mean green. I mean overall sustainability. So that is economic sustainability, social sustainability, environmental sustainability, and transparency. So overall sustainability. Companies are now aware of their impacts, and they are globally, not just in Europe, trying to mitigate them or in a way compensate the negative impacts and increase the positive impacts. We also have seen over the past couple of years a good shift towards more cohesive sustainability ambitions, right? So in the past, we used to have the sustainability strategy, which was developed by people like me, by sustainability practitioners, and was kind of separated from the actual business strategy of the company. This is not the case anymore for many companies, and even smaller companies are basically integrating sustainability ambition within their business ambition. They are changing the products. They are involving suppliers. They are answering requests of transparency. They are tracking environmental impacts, acting on human rights, all those things as part of the business strategy of the company, because sustainability is basically needed for being competitive in the market. So good shift at the strategy level. Now sustainability is increasingly included into business strategy. However, the way we then bring down the strategy and we implement the changes, that's where projects basically get involved. A lot of changes happen through projects, whether it's, I don't know, a supply chain project, whether it's a development R&D project. Projects are the catalyst of change. And that's why the project manager needs to be competent in sustainability, which doesn't mean becoming a sustainability specialist. That's why people like me are hired by companies. But there needs to be absolutely a discourse, a conversation between the project manager who is implementing actions on a day-to-day basis and delivery change, and the sustainability expert of the company that is leading the overall long-term strategy of the company. Because there is reporting, there are requirements, they are increasingly stringent, but reporting comes at the end of the cycle. We cannot scrap for reporting at the end of the project. Try to understand if we have data, if we actually were having a good impact, or in a way we have to review the way we did things. The consideration of sustainability has to be included from the beginning to the end of the project life cycle, and even the project outcomes. Project managers need to evaluate the project impacts on society and environment throughout the project life cycle, without just having to provide data at the end of the project, not knowing where to find that data. That's why we basically need to build a new set of competencies that is outside of the corporate role of the sustainability specialist and goes into the role of the project manager. And the project manager needs to take responsibility over sustainability. It's not that much the responsibility that they have, is the one that they take over during time, basically.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, then, Gilbert, maybe you can enlighten us what sustainability competences are then needed.
Yes, thank you, Maurits. Good afternoon. My name is Gilbert Silvius, and I am researching this topic and also academically developing this topic of sustainability and project management actually already since 15 years. I'm working at HU, University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands, and some other universities in Austria and other places. And this is a very interesting question, because we started from the logic that actually also Sara mentioned, that organizations need to develop towards sustainability. And that requires change in organizations, change of products, services, business processes, supply chains, technologies, you name it. And a lot of that change is organized in project. Not all change in organizations is organized in project, but a lot of that change. And of course, if you then think about what is the role of projects in that, we talk about having sustainable deliverables. So we do a project in order to make, for example, a wind park, or to change our business process, or etc. We called it in the literature sustainability by the project. So projects are these instruments in organizations to organize change, for example, towards sustainability. But I was always interested in how does that now change project management? how does it change the organization, the planning, the governance, the management, the performance of the project? You might call it sustainability of the project. That is what has become, in the past 15 years, sustainable project management. So sustainable project management is not about making nice sustainable projects, but it's about managing all projects in a sustainable way. And if you then ask, what does it mean for the competences of the project manager? There are a couple of things. First of all, you need to understand some basics. You need to understand a little bit more about the concepts of sustainability, social responsibility, reporting that Sara also mentioned. You need to understand what the impact of these concepts are in the context in which you work, like an organization or perhaps even like society. But if you know these concepts, you also start seeing how considering those concepts change the practices and the processes of project management. For example, how you work with stakeholders, how you consider stakeholders. Do you consider stakeholders as a risk to a project, or do you consider them as a source of ideas and source of opportunity for your project? How you work with your team. Think about things like diversity. How you work in procurement and with your supply chain in the project. How you assess risks. How you look at the business case. In other words, I've spent many publications and many studies on understanding how does sustainability now impact these different practices of project management. And I've come to the conclusion that it impacts those practices. It makes project management really different. And that is sustainable project management. We also have a new practice. And the new practice, and already mentioned by Sara, is we expect that project managers are capable of assessing the impacts of their project on the society and the environment. Do a sustainability impact assessment. In fact, that was already mentioned by IPMA in the ICB4 in 2015, 10 years ago, but it was never explained how to do that. Now, our latest publications that we will show, I think we elaborate on that. We make that more clear. We provide more guidance. And when we were making those publications, one thing became very, very difficult, because we don't want sustainability to be the next checklist. If a project manager thinks, okay, just give me the checklist, that is not what we intend to do. Sustainability is a mind shift. It is indeed, and again, Sara said it, it's not about having responsibility, but it is about taking responsibility. And of course, when I give my lectures and when I do my work and when we write publications, describing that mind shift is very difficult, because how do you describe a mind shift? Every professional wants to have the practical things. Reality is, yes, we have those practical things, but there is more behind it. It is not just a checklist. I hope it answers your question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think that I might have faced some internet connection difficulties. If the next question was not yet posed, sorry for that. Lana, you can answer to us the following question.
Yes, thank you, Maurits. Hello to everybody. My name is Lana Lovrenčić Butković, and I am associate professor at the Faculty of Civil Engineering, University of Zagreb. And all of I started my academic career and also professional interest related to corporate social responsibility, and continued with sustainability and ESG perspectives of the organizations and project management now. So within IPMA, together we recognize the sustainable development as the probably most important project in human history till now. And together we are making significant efforts to integrate sustainability more systematically into project management practices and standards. We can say that the future of the project management must be responsible and sustainable, and we all believe that projects and their management are the way to sustainability. IPMA also believes that every sustainable project should be built on the pillars of competence, mindset, and measurable impact. So together, creating progress that lasts. So in that context, IPMA recognized all of these needs and started an initiative for establishing an ESG special interest group 2 years ago at the IPMA World Congress in Seville in September 2023. There we firstly met and started to creating our strategy, activities, and milestones. 1 year after, our authoring team presented the Sustainable Project Management ICB4 Reference Guide. It was launched in November last year at the World Congress in Cape Town. This Sustainable Project Management Reference Guide reflects a holistic view on sustainable project management and presents a new standard for sustainable project management. It includes insights from the academic development of the topic in the past 15 years, and also integrated the Green Comp framework of sustainability competences into project management, and is also consistent with the ICB4 of the IPMA. There we started to develop and to trying to create a new book. It is now only 7 months later. It's been finished. Now it's called IPMA Guide on Sustainable Project Management, and we are proudly presenting it here now. It is officially launched this September also at the IPMA World Congress in Berlin. The book gives professionals a framework, list of competencies and mindset to deliver projects that matter. It is built on the IPMA ICB4 framework, as I said, and it covers 92 competencies and their elements that created sustainability into every decision, and it is also linked to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for global relevance. Parallel to these two publishing, this year the first certification based on this new standard was issued, and this guide is also used as an international training book for education in the field of sustainable project management. Next to these publications and certifications, IPMA also developed one practical instrument that we are especially proud of. It's called IPMA WISE, means the Wheel of Impacts on Society and the Environment. It is designed as a sustainability impact assessment instrument specifically for projects, and it can be used for any project, and it is used to assess a project's impact on society and the environment, and also to discover where the project can or should be improved. So with those three key resources, IPMA formed the complete framework on sustainable project management. So the first one is the ICB4 reference guide on sustainable project management, which defining the competences. The second one is IPM guide on sustainable project management with applying the principles of sustainable project management. And the third one is the IPMA WISE tool, which can be used to measure the impact of the project. And that could be has very practical use. Now I would kindly ask Gilbert to proceed with the explanation of this tool.
Yes, thank you very much, Lana. Let me give a short demo. So I need to click a couple of times. Here we are. Hold on. I'm still actually here. I'll just tell you something first of the background of this WISE tool. And so, sorry, still need to go back to my presentation. Here we are.
Gilbert, I think your screen is not sharing. Could to bring it up again?
I'm trying to share. Yeah. Here we are. Okay, so the WISE tool. A little bit about the background, and the background is that strategy implementation gap. Several reports show that organizations struggle to make their sustainability ambitions and strategies a reality. And one of the reasons is, you could say, there is no alignment between projects and strategy. Now, for those who are familiar in the world of project management, we all know that actually that alignment, there is something between strategy and projects, and that is project portfolio management. And the alignment of project with strategy is normally a process in project portfolio management. So what's going wrong there? Now, one of the things that is often lacking in project portfolio boards and PMOs that prepare the information for the project portfolio board is adequate insight into the impacts of projects on society and the environment. And that's very close to what also earlier was said by Sara. And we're also lacking methods of that. And now I'm going to stop for a second, and I'm going to show you WISE, because that is where WISE comes in. Here we are. This one, and then, sorry, just need to click a couple of times. Yes, here I can show you something else. Right. What do we have here? So WISE is an instrument, and we try to make it very practical because there are different other instruments. Actually, I myself developed an impact instrument 10 years ago, and we used it in studies, but really reach out to the practitioner. We found out that it's actually too complex. We need to make it easy and attractive. Now, what you see here is a spreadsheet, a relatively easy spreadsheet, 20 criteria. You see them on the left with a small description. It's all there. And the criteria are categorized in economic criteria, social criteria, so criteria for economic impact, social impacts, governance, and environmental impacts. So it is completely aligned with all the standards, all the reporting standards that typically show economic reporting and ESG reporting, environment, social, and governance. And what we want a project manager to do, I mean, project manager is not that sustainability specialist, as Sara said. Therefore, we have the Saras of this world. But a project manager can, based on the description of the project and the plan of the project, sit together with the project team, perhaps with the support of a sustainability expert, but we know that they are typically understaffed. And score in these fields, describe what might be the impacts. For example, on competitive advantage, I might write, well, project has great potential. And I might then score that with a green color. I'll explain the coloring in a second. I'm going to score that here with a green color, my conclusion. You'll see that is in the column of the expected positive impacts. That is this column. This column is the expected positive impacts, where we also have potential negative impacts. For example, if you look through all the criteria, human rights, people development, communities, but also biodiversity, climate change, etc. So the first action would be that a project manager or project team by themselves try to score the project. And I have on the other tab here, I have a filled-in example. That's just an example of a fictitious project where you see quite some positive impacts here. The conclusion is quite green. And we see here on the social, we see orange there as a conclusion. Orange means it's unknown. We actually don't really know. And that, of course, happens a lot. A lot of the impacts that a project has are not always known to the project team. What we will do with that, how we should interpret that, that is another story. it might also be that a certain criteria, in this case, for example, like people development, it says no expected impact, meaning it's not really relevant because not all projects have impact on all criteria. In that case, we don't score anything. We just leave it blank. Now, if I just continue, you see how it looks like. Okay, that is the first step. The first step is that as a team, you sit together and you discuss with each other what is going on with this project. What is the expected impact? Then we go to the WISE model. So we go to the next step, and I'll show that to you. Need to save another, share another screen here. Here you see it. This is our WISE model. It's a wheel, and that is also for visual reasons and attractive reasons. You'll see it actually shows quite nice. So if I go to my example, the idea is that we score, and we score here by coloring. So if I take in this software package, if I start with the economic part, there were actually quite some positive effects. For example, on business resilience, our idea was that it was double green. Oh, it's not completely working as how I want it. Let me do that again. Here we have green business resilience. And we can color this green. Of course, if you have a physical paper version, you can color it manually, of course. I'm now doing digital. We actually return on investment was also double green. Adaptability, adaptiveness, we had nothing. Competitive advantage was single green, and future opportunities was also single green. But when we went to the labor practices, remember the people development was unknown, but a lot of the others were orange. There were, oh, sorry, I need to change the color here. Oh, forgot to change the color, so I'm gonna move that away. Orange. Orange is the middle line here. That means we actually don't know. Is that orange? No, it's almost orange. Sorry, I'm a bit colorblind. This is more orange. Okay. Just to quickly, we had on the what was it? The energy and emissions. We had green impact. So again, we go to green here. That was double green, so that's good. So that's quite a nice investment here. Circular economy, it was orange. I'll do that later. Pollution was green, one single green. That's good. Climate change, one single green. But we had a red one, which is a negative impact on biodiversity. So I showed it here. And we had one orange one that was here. Now, just to finish it off, we had in risk management, we had an orange and a red. Now we had orange, and we had in supplier relationship, we also had an orange. And we had a green in business conduct here. And we had a green in ethical, so that's good. And we had a red in business. A red in transparency. Okay, so transparency, red. This one. I see that I actually did put this one on the wrong one. So I'm going to take that away. So in a very visual way, we can now, and actually supplier relationships, there was another one, red here. Was actually red and orange, because we didn't know. In a very visual way, we can now see how we think the impact is. And of course, if you do that, you can color it a little bit nicer. We are thinking about making a digital version, but for now, the real, let's say, hand-on work actually works quite nicely. The next step is to go with this and discuss this with your sustainability officer, with the Saras of this world. And then what the Saras of this world might do, they might say, okay, hold on, let's look at what our strategy is. What is our sustainability strategy? And for example, it could be that sustainability strategy is on human rights and is also on diversity, impact, inclusion and belonging. And of course, it's also an economic strategy. We want to earn money. That is all nice. That is also nothing wrong with that. And we are good on emissions and circular economy. Also here we have a strong strategy. And perhaps also on the risk management. So she will look at the highlights of her strategy. And Sara, if a project manager comes to you and this is your strategy and this is the score of the project, what do you then say? What will be your reaction?
Yeah, thank you, Gilbert. So first of all, we can support in closing the gaps. So I would absolutely never, ever accept a project where there is an unknown impact on labor practices, especially with this strategy, but in general, there are certain sustainability values that are very highly considered, and we cannot simply accept unknowns there. So the first step would be to send the project manager back with some homework to close the gaps. Of course, as I said, the project manager might not know what to ask, the supplier might not know what to ask the team or the partners, which is why we can support them and close those gaps. So that's the first thing. We need data. If there is a data gap, we need to discuss why is it there and how do we close it. Second thing, we look at a strategy. Well, once we have closed the gaps, let me see. This is a very good project for me. I don't see any reds. So I would have it fly. If let's say I had some reds on some of my strategic objects, then we would have to discuss what is the benefit on certain areas and what is the downside on certain areas, and can we accept a higher benefit in a certain area, let's say emissions reduction, while we also considered some negative impacts on biodiversity of a certain area or whatever other impact is. So there is very much a discussion on what are the priorities of the company, and that stays within the strategy. Usually not all targets are equally valuable. There are some that are priorities because of the sector the company is working in and because of the geographical area the company is working in, the clients they are working with. So there are a lot of factors deciding what is more important, and with that we can decide if it flies or not. With no data, it doesn't fly. So that's the key thing we do. We challenge the project manager and the project team to get back data and to close the gap.
Thank you very much. But it makes also visible that actually what you said with this project, you like it. That is actually, for example, here, there's quite a nice alignment between the project and your strategies.
Correct.
And of course, let's say if you would have a strategy highlighted in blue here and the impact of the project was red, then it would be misalignment.
Exactly.
And that would, of course, be problematic.
Yes, and there is also a match between, there is also a match between the risk appetite of the company and this type of analysis. So there was a red on biodiversity. We need to go a little bit more in depth on that. It might be a small impact, which we can accept because we are also providing a lot of good impact on other areas, or there might be such a big negative impact that we can simply not approve the project. So reds should generally be assessed to understand what's the magnitude and the likelihood of that impact to occur, basically.
Yes, thank you very much. So I think there are two things that we try to support with WISE, and one is basically that the team can do a first assessment and can also see, perhaps together with stakeholders, also with the project sponsor, where is the project problematic, where is the project stronger negative impacts, and what can we do about that. But we also do not want project managers, you could say, to fire windmills. The goal is not to have everything green. I mean, it sounds nice, but that's not very realistic. I think the goal is to align with the strategy of the organization. And of course, decisions in the end might be made by the Saras of these worlds or the boards of these worlds. But as project managers, we have the task to show that alignment. And that is what we also try to visually express here. What are the aligned impacts of the project? So where does the impact of the project align with the strategy of the organization, and where are the non-aligned impacts? And they, of course, have special interest. And perhaps also where are non-material impacts, meaning the project has certain impacts, which is nice, but it's actually not the strategy of the organization. So that's what we try to support. And you see, let's say the first assessment by the team, you might consider that light, with a little bit of coloring and a questionnaire. But of course, if you then go into the impacts of the project, organizations will have their measurement methods to measure certain things. And like Sara said, having no data is not acceptable. Then we're going to go into the serious measurement to see, certainly for the non-aligned projects, what there is to do. Because where we want to go to is what we call sustainable projects. And sustainable projects, you see that here in kind of a portfolio model illustrated, are projects that contribute to ESG goals, environmental, social governance, contribute to the strategy of the organization there, but also contribute to the economic goals of the organization. Those we call sustainable projects. If a project only contributes to the economic goals and not to the ESG goals, we label them irresponsible because they don't align with the social responsibility of the organization. If a project scores high on ESG but low on economic goals, we label them green projects, nice projects, but they won't hold out in the end. And if a project scores low, okay, we label them immaterial projects because they lack a material contribution. So that is the WISE model. And of course, sustainable project management is more than just a WISE model, but we did try to also make it hands-on for a project manager, provide a practical tool that will be downloadable, by the way, for IPMA members in the library. I understood.
Thank you, Gilbert. I think you already answered one of the questions. Where can it be downloaded? Then, Peter, how will this development of sustainable project management continue, especially within IPMA?
Yeah, thanks, Maurits. Good question. So there is, as I'm on one side, project managers in about 30 years in the field. I've done projects around the world in different industries, and I saw different implementation of it. So at the beginning, nobody took care on it. So it grown through the last years, and I'm now engaged in especially sustainable project management since around about 10 years, where I tried really to work on that, and very glad to join the team to develop all these stuff, what Lana showed. And at IPMA, I'm since 1.5 years leading the standard group where we try to implement all these new stuff into all our standards. So, and we did something very serious on, we have these new reference guide on sustainable project management, and we have also included the fundamental principles of sustainability in our new code of ethics of IPMA. So we showed that this is really part of our taking responsibility for the world. And to show that, we have included that in our base philosophy in the ethics. And looking on the future, as you know, we have started the update of the ICB. It's our main standard we have. So we are currently in the middle of the ICB 5 project. And we will implement the core indicator in these new ICB 5 so that it reflects this, that it's not optional, it's part of our job. And this will be the key cornerstone on the ICB 5, together with a couple of other updates we will have here. And also for the other standards we have. So we have, besides the individual competence baseline, we have an organizational baseline, we have the excellence baseline for the projects and the research. And all these main standards will be updated according to the sustainability strategy of IPMA as part of their next the usual update of the standard. And if you have seen in LinkedIn, we just started today the kickoff of the OCB. So we are starting to integrate this now in the OCB. Will follow. And after that, we have another set of standards which are enhancing the ICB in certain fields like agile, like PMO planner, consultant, coaching, training topics. And all these standards will be then during the regular updates aligned with the sustainability standards. So we have a strong commitment at IPMA that sustainability is not an optional add-on. It is part of the life of projects. And that's how we want to integrate it. Also, if we develop new standard, it will be always aligned with the sustainability strategy. That's very important, as what we are doing at the end as project managers. We are creating the future. So we develop the results not just to be busy, we just develop it to enable our organization, our customers to do their job better, their job more sustainable. That's about the strategy and how it will impact. So you will have a lot of stuff about sustainability from IPMA during the next years.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter, for elaborating on that. Then then we'll go to some questions, if that's okay for everyone. Also for everybody in the chat, please do, everybody in this session, please do ask your questions in the chat. We have a few which I will elaborate where we can. Also regarding the where to download it, the WISE and the book for members it can be freely downloaded in the My IPMA book library through Van Haren. So if you go to My IPMA through bookshops and then My Library, there you can find it. Then need some questions. So Sara, you say that the business has changed, but isn't sustainability not still seen as a burden to most businesses? Not my opinion, but
It's a good question. It's a good question, and I get this a lot. And the answer is no, not really. It's seen as first of all, it's seen as a must-have. No sustainability, no keeping alive in the current market. And this is true for businesses and for governments. We've just seen China issuing their new reporting standards. It's the first time China has such a nice and comprehensive effort on the topic. And we've seen many countries around the world working on this. And companies have realized and keep realizing that this is just an opportunity for competitive advantage, for differentiation in the market. And then at the end of the day is what clients want. And clients and shareholders, by the way, are increasingly less prone to accepting doing business with a company that is not good on the sustainability aspect. So I would say no, it's not still a burden. There might be a little bit of an entail here of companies that still are in that mindset, but in the long term, those companies will not fly. Simply as that.
Okay, thank you. Very resolute. Appreciate it. Lana and Gilbert, the two of you are active in a number of academic projects within project management programs. How is the topic of sustainability and social responsibility integrated in these programs?
Ladies first. You're
Lana,
muted,
I think you're on mute. Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you, Gilbert, very much. We are constantly working to include sustainability into all of our programs, from strategy and leadership to the project management. We also try to make sustainability and responsibility part of the mindset, not just a module. In our program, students explore how every management decision has an impact on people, on communities, and on the environment. Furthermore, we seek to develop the skills and mindset required for responsible management, and our students learn how to transform sustainability goals into real project criteria, KPIs, and stakeholder strategies. For instance, when we discuss project planning, we also ask who benefits, who might be affected. In leadership courses, we talked about ethical dilemmas, responsible resource use, and long-term value creation. And if I may mention something, we recently designed and introduced a new course at the MBA level called Sustainable Project Management to answer the growing demand for responsible leadership, especially in the built environment. This course provides future managers with tools, for example, with the WISE also. They need to integrate sustainability concepts into all stages of the project life cycle, from strategic planning, procurement to execution and post-project evaluation also. So this competence is especially important in the construction industry because we are mostly oriented to it. Because construction projects have a significant environmental, social, and economic impact, and managers must be able to balance cost, time, quality, but also carbon and resource efficiency, while also ensuring community well-being and some regulatory compliance. So this sustainable project management, for instance, course assists executives and project leaders in transitioning from traditional delivery models and methods to purpose-driven, circular, low-carbon project practicing, and preparing them to lead the industry's transformation to sustainable, resilient built assets. But for the conclusions from my side, it is difficult to implement significant changes and transitions, particularly in our national educational systems. But we are doing our best to incorporate those concepts and competences into existing courses and benefit the students with this. Gilbert, you may say something more.
No, I think you said it all. I think this is a development that's already going on for a couple of years, and I'm very happy to be able to deliver actually courses on sustainable project management. Well, first of all in Utrecht, that's where it started for me, but now also on different universities in Vienna, actually the Bishop University, but also to other universities. I do it in Malmö, University of Malmö, Politecnico Milano, Reykjavik, Iceland, in Paris. It is. I don't think there's any MBA or master program where there's not something about sustainability or responsibility. And if the program has then a special focus on project management, you end up also with sustainable project management after a while. And I think we're very happy that if they then start Googling, they probably find this book and they find some of us, and that provides nice opportunities. So spread the word, I hope.
Thank you, Gilbert. Peter, IPMA has implemented a specific sustainability project management certification. Are these replacing the regular IPMA project management certifications, and what are the requirements of this certification?
Yeah, so they are not replacing the existing one; they're enhancing it. So the sustainability certificates are designed as an add-on certification. So this is if you need to have already a certification of level ABCD, and then you can make the Plus sustainability, so that to show that you are also competent not only in the traditional project management topic, you're also competent to apply sustainability on that level of project complexity. So this is the main requirement: is you're already holding a valid IPMA certificate. But especially if you go for recertification, you can do as part of your recertification exercise to make this additional small exam, and then you get the Plus sustainability assignment. And this shows that you are not just be really competent project management professionals. So this is very specific one. So you're with IPMA, you're shown as a competent project manager, not just a knowledgeable. You're competent, and you're competent also in applying sustainability. And this is hopefully very relevant for the Saras of the world, so that they see, okay, we have project managers who understand what's needed.
I like that role description, the Saras of this world. It's like a persona, the Saras of this world.
No, but if I may, on the fact that that companies see sustainability as a burden, one more thing, I have to say, I'm yet to find a company that tells me sustainability is a burden, or I don't care about sustainability. What is perceived as a burden is the lack of capabilities and bureaucracy, which is a very different thing. It's not sustainability which is the issue, it's the fact that sometimes there is a gap for even tiny companies, single person, 2 people's companies, to close that gap. So the burden is not sustainability itself, and it, in my experience, never perceived as so. The burden is not being able to act upon sustainability. So this is kind of why, a little bit of why we also developed this approach and this informative material to maybe kind of put a dent in that gap and try to solve the issue that some companies are still facing.
Yeah, thank you. Peter, me being devil's advocate, why, just asking the question for the audience, why will professionals get certified in this sustainability project management certification?
Yeah, to show that they're competent to solve it, so that they integrate the sustainability strategy in the project. So that it's the main reason. So if you are interested in, just ask your local member association, your certification body, when they want to implement. So we are supporting currently some of the AMAs in implementing the sustainability certification. So just ask them so that we can work together to speed up the process to roll it out globally.
Yeah, perhaps I can add. I mean, sustainability is a very clear development in the world of project management in the past 10 years. Actually, when I started studying this topic, I had to conclude that the standards were not addressing sustainability at all. Now, at the moment, whether you talk about IPMA or PMI or Prince2 or PM Squared, they all talk about sustainability. So this is a clear development. And if you are a professional project manager, I hope you follow the developments in your profession. And I think that with this certification, you get a better understanding of what it is and perhaps also what it not is. And you get, also competence and tools to be able to do something and thereby create more value also in your professional context for your organization.
Yeah, thank you, Gilbert. And then you've written several books and papers, also with Van Eyck Publishing, on this subject. So what? And you mentioned that also all the other certification bodies are publishing content on sustainable project management. What does the book of all of you, this book, what does this one make different compared to what's already out there?
I have to say, compared with my earlier books, this is far better. This is absolutely the best one. I think what we really try to do, I mean, if you look at other publications, and many people have written about sustainability and project management on different parts of the world, of course, and quite quickly you come to the idea, okay, you need to think about social and environmental. That is quite quickly there. And you write something about the developments in the world, you write something about the triple bottom line, about the United Nations developments, about sustainable development goals. You write something generic about sustainability, and then you come with the idea of, we need to consider that in project management. You know what? In the planning phase of a project or the initiation phase, do something with sustainability. Here you have a checklist, and good luck. Now, for me, that is not integrating sustainability. That is just adding the checklist. So I think if you, I had that fourfold sheet with things that change. We really paid a lot of attention to integrate the concept of sustainability and responsibility. It's more than just the green, you might say, really integrated in the practices of project management, and to provide guidance for that, to give examples of what you can do in order to support really that mind shift and to make it also more doable, So we really wanted to go beyond just beyond the checklist. And that is not the only book that does that, because we have been doing that already for years. But I quite often, and I might be critical on other publications, of course, but I quite often miss the integration. Quite often, sustainability is a thing, and then we write something, a very generic thing about project management, but there is no connection. In fact, I could refer to the latest Prince 2 version. The first half of the book, there's a lot of mentioning of sustainability and all sorts of things, but then when it comes to the real practices of project management, for example, with regards to stakeholders or risks or the logical integration points, there's nothing. And that's what I'm missing. And in our book, it's throughout the life cycle of the project, throughout all the practices, as it is also in the Sustainable Project Management ICB4 reference guide. Also there, it touches upon all these competencies.
Yeah, thank you. Just to show that the subject is alive, we have a very active chat. Also, a lot of people from all over the globe who are participating. So thank you everyone for joining in. We try to answer some more questions later on. Please do keep asking your questions, and we can also ask them through the chat. Questions regarding certifications, you can also directly contact IPMA. Also regarding your local chapters as such, please do reach out to them, and they're happy to help you out. Yeah, then maybe we'll continue, I think. Regarding so if you all can give one message from this session, from this webinar, what would it be? What message would you like to give to the audience of this webinar?
Yeah, I would say from my side, if you're a project manager, reach out to the sustainability people of your company. If there's not a sustainability person, there is for sure somebody that has sustainability under their responsibility. It might not just be a sustainability officer. It could be somebody that is the operations officer plus sustainability, or whatever this person is seated, and have a chat with them. Go on your website and understand if you have a sustainability strategy. If not, ask why to senior management. Just look for the resources that for sure are there. And if they're not, then you can start the change and start asking the good questions to move this forward in your company. So yeah, reach out and find who your main sponsor in terms of sustainability is in the company and move from there.
Thank you, Sara.
Yeah. We can say that sustainable project management needs to be responsible. It is reality and it is relevant today, the most maybe relevant topic of today. So the responsible means that the projectification of society requires project managers to take responsibility for societal issues. For example, considering impacts on people, communities, environment, and future generations when making their decisions in the managing the projects.
It also needs to be real, you said, Lana, right? So it needs to be practical, and it needs to really connect to how companies work. It's not something that can live in a book, sustainable project management. It needs to be applied, and it needs to be used on a day-to-day basis within the practitioner's field.
And at the end, we need to keep relevant. So we are designing the future for the organization, for the society. So if we do that, we not only remain relevant, we increase our relevance for the organization and to make our projects more successful in not only to meet the objectives, really to enable the outcome and to grow the business.
Yeah, and perhaps I can add actually the sheet that I presented earlier, which for me the most important statement is on the right. Sustainable project management is a mind shift. It's not the next checklist. It really is a mind shift. And of course, we create instruments to make it practical, But please understand that it's not about the checklist. It's about taking responsibility.
Yeah, thank you very much, all of you, for joining this session. We're 1 hour in. We do have quite some questions still, but I suggest that we follow them up via the chat. Again, thank you everyone for joining this session. Please, if you have questions, reach out to our authors, reach out to IPMA, and they're happy to resolve. For members, the book is available as a free download in my IPMA with Bookshop, and then with the books in my library. And looking forward to next session. Thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate it. And keep spread the word, I would say.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We at the Van Haren Group believe that organizations can benefit from shared knowledge and experiences, and we try to help them to do so. We are an independent, worldwide recognized content provider in management best practices and standards, well known for its flexibility and years of experience. Our education partners offer specialized training using our books, courseware, e-learnings, and exams. These partners play a crucial role in delivering high-quality education to professionals, leveraging our products to ensure comprehensive and effective learning experiences. At Van Haren Group, we're more than just a publisher. Our unwavering commitment to quality, passion, trust, fairness, and forward-thinking drives everything we do. We are dedicated to empowering professionals and organizations worldwide to achieve their goals and thrive in today's dynamic landscape. Dream, learn, and achieve with Van Haren Group.
Do you want to apply a best practice yourself and maybe leverage our services? Do get in contact with us. We are more than happy to advise how to take the next step.